Even for those brothers and sisters who sometimes argue with us that voting is not halal, the very origin of the word vote is exactly like the origin of the word bay'ah. It has something spiritual, it's deeper, it's a commitment. And what's greater than the commitment of human beings than they have to each other as well as to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh wa Ramadan Mubarak. It's my pleasure to be able to give you this short khatira before iftar regarding the importance of being involved with your community no matter where you are in the world. And one of the common debates we've always had is voting halal, is voting haram, should we vote, shouldn't we vote? And I always tell people that voting has been an essential part of Islam since the day of the Prophet ﷺ, when even the Sahaba gave bay'ah to the Prophet. So not only did they do shahada, not only did they say ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammad Rasulullah, that I believe that there is no God but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and that Muhammad is his prophet and his messenger, but also they would give him bay'ah. There's actually an ayah in Surah Al-Fatah, ayah verse 10, which is إِنَّ الَّذِينَ يُبَايِعُونَكَ إِنَّمَا يُبَايِعُونَ اللَّهَ يَدُ اللَّهِ فَوْقَ أَيْدِيهِمْ. So the beauty of this ayah says that those who are giving you bay'ah, they're actually giving bay'ah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that when you're giving their vote, they're giving their bay'ah, they're giving their oath, their pledge of allegiance to you, it's equal to them giving their oath of allegiance to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And not only that, you know how we put our hands on top of each other when we give bay'ah, or like when we're like agreeing on something, that the hand of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is over the hand of the one that gives the oath. And what's important about this is to understand then that voting, giving your bay'ah, giving your oath, giving that pledge is an essential part of our commitment to being able to serve our communities. And to not engage in giving your vote, to be able to select that person, even if that person is not perfect, will ultimately not serve the Muslim community or the Ummah as it grows here in the United States of America. Quite the contrary, the United States gives us a beautiful opportunity to give the bay'ah. And what is the bay'ah? So intriguingly, let's compare the word bay'ah to the word of vote. As we already have agreed and we discussed, bay'ah is like a pledge, an oath. It's a commitment. And typically it's a spiritual commitment. Although we also know, for instance, that when some of the khulafa were given bay'ah, right, the Sahaba would give them bay'ah as the Khalifa. We also know that some generals were given bay'ah by their soldiers, right, that their commitment, that they're going to fulfill their obligations to each other. It's not just a one-way streak, right? The bay'ah is going from the person giving the bay'ah, but it's also the person receiving the bay'ah understanding now they're obligated to that person. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala even says He's always going to fulfill His obligations to us, even though subhanAllah, He's our creator. So let's look at the origin of the word vote. It's very amazing when I looked up the etymology of the word vote. The word vote actually comes from one of the verb, which is votere, or the noun votum. And for our Latin experts, I may not be pronouncing this correctly, but the amazing thing is that the word vote actually means originally comprising a pact or commitment to God or a divine entity or an intimate spiritual request. So subhanAllah, even for those brothers and sisters who sometimes argue with us that voting is not halal, the very origin of the word vote is exactly like the origin of the word bay'ah. It has something spiritual, it's deeper, it's a commitment. And what's greater than the commitment of human beings than they have to each other as well as to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Our goal as Muslims, our goal as citizens of the United States is to serve. كنت خير أمة أخرجت للناس تأمرون بالمعروف وتنهون عن المنكر. تأمرون بالمعروف isn't just commanding the good. This isn't about halal and haram. It is to be able to encourage the things of ma'ruf, encouraging the things that gets people to communicate with each other, to enhance and engage with each other, to get to know with each other. What's al-munkar? Al-munkar is the thing that actually creates disruption, all right, which creates division or derision. And what's greater than a process of voting, a process of election, so that we know that there's a period of time for debate, there's a period of time for negotiation, but then there's a period of time where you give your oath, you give your choice, you give your vote, you give your bay'ah. You're making one group responsible that they will be caretakers of the citizenry. that means they will be responsible to make sure things go well for the community. And at the same time, you have an obligation then to keep things going by respecting the decision process and by also promoting the next level, the next generation, the next good thing, the next better thing, the next stronger link to make our communities, whether American or Muslim, stronger and stronger, to give us a better future and also to gain the grace and blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.